Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Week in Review. This is where we take a look at all the videos we put out over the past week on the Dice Tower and tell you what we think about them. So let's get started. If you want to know more about each of these reviews or videos that we mentioned, we got links in the description below.
Hey everybody, I'm Zee Garcia. Here's what I reviewed last week. So I reviewed Nanga Parbat, which I rate a 4 out of 10. This is a two-player abstract game. It doesn't really have a lot of spark to it. It seems like a very by-the-moves kind of game. Didn't find it very exciting. By the time it did get around to maybe giving me a couple of strategic choices, the game then always gets around to that point and then wraps up. So I found it pretty disappointing. I reviewed Ruination, which I rate an 8.5 out of 10. This is a clashing game with a post-apocalyptic setting in a very cool part of the world with some interesting gameplay. Very quick turns, very engaging, great combat system in this. So if you want one of these kinds of games where the combat is first and foremost, that seems to be the focus in the game, then this is a great one to look into. Wonderful art style as well, in my opinion. Lastly, I reviewed an expansion, the last one for Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. And this is Egyptian Kings, and I rate this a 9 out of 10. It's yet another wonderful expansion for this wonderful game. They've managed to keep these from getting too complicated, and in fact, I think the two decks included in this one are very straightforward decks that have a lot of interesting tactics to explore. You know, they have very clear weaknesses to each deck, and part of your journey while playing them is figuring out how to shore up those weaknesses. And I really enjoy that gameplay, experience, a style. So wonderful stuff. And there you go. That's it for me. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey everyone, Chris Yee here. I did 2 reviews this week, the first of which was Pacific Rails Inc., which I gave a 3 out of 10. This was not a good game. The rulebook was atrocious. The mechanisms, there were a lot of clunky or kind of stinker mechanisms that didn't quite pay off as much as I felt like they could have. And the art was uninspired. It was not a good package. It needed more time to develop, to put back in the oven, I say. The next game was Destinies. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. This is one of my favorite games that I've played in a long time. It is app integrated, allows you to scan different cards that you get, go on a story, has a good narrative, it has a fantastic, innovative system of skills checks and everything. Go check out the review. I really like it. That was a 4 squares with the rest of the gang, so that was my week.
Hey there everybody, it's Mike DeLisio, and this week I was part of a 4 squares review for Destinies, the next kind of big narrative game from Lucky Duck Games. This is a really solid app-driven game. I'm rating this an 8.5 out of 10 and a seal of excellence. I felt like it did a fantastic job of taking a game with a big narrative experience and making it so simple to set up and play. Unlike many other games like this, you can get this game out of the box and be going in within a few minutes, and I really appreciated it for that. I'm looking forward to trying out all the expansions. It's a game that I think has a lot to offer. That's it for me this week. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, so for me, first of all, there's Outsmarted. This is a terrible game that is trying to either copy, it's straight up trying to copy Trivial Pursuit, which isn't a great game to start with. This makes it worse, adds in a, electronic component, but I don't know what the point of it is. It's a trivia game, but it's really boring. Watch my review. I don't like it. Sea of Legends, I really wanted to like this one. As it is, I like a lot of parts of it. I think this could be an amazing game. But the app is buggy and the rules are terrible. But it is a sandbox pirate game. Everything else about this game I enjoy. Cloud Control. It's an okay party game where you're sticking down cloud shapes and making pictures with them. Nutty Noodles. This is a game that I think it's more for kids than anyone else, where you're rolling some dice and then trying to find a card that matches the dice that are rolled in a grid, and then picking a monster who's not allergic to the foods in that particular food card that you're matching. It's silly. Math Match, another game for kids, specifically younger kids. It is not a looker at all, but I think for kids I thought it worked really well at teaching them some basic math principles. Space Race. This is another game which I really wanted to like. I mean, it looks fantastic. It's about the actual space race. And it's too big. There's too few many components in it. The card deck's too big. It's hard to get an engine going. But the basic ideas of it, the look of the game, I really enjoy. Herbaceous Pocket. This is a small, tiny version of Herbaceous. I never played Herbaceous before, so I gave it a whirl. A quick little filler that is enjoyable. Midnight Brunch, another quick filler, works best with more players, but it's one of those games where you all are playing a card trying to outthink everybody else, but there's also a little bit of blackjack thrown into it. Cloaked Cats is another deduction game for families where you have some attributes of a cat. Everyone is trying to guess which attributes everybody else has. Very simple, very fast. Khora, Rise of an Empire. This is a very delightful game from Yellow, a new brand of those like Yellow strategy games or advanced games. It's essentially a somewhat boring looking game, but it's about moving up tracks as quickly as you can, and it comes together, I think, in a really sound way. Destinies, an amazing game, really. We did a Four Squares review on this one. I really like it, despite not being a huge fan of the grimdark medieval fantasy theme of it, but the application of the app here and the actual testing system are so fantastic that I want to see more. I plan to play it today, later on, after recording this. And Commands and Colors Samurai. This is actually I found out since I did the review that it was a reprint of an earlier game of this, but GMT has done it now. This feels like a rehashing of Battlelore First Edition. It adds magic, but there's no magic in the game. It is Fortune and Glory, but it works really well in this system, and I like it a lot. And it could have looked better. We also did a top 10 of the best years of gaming. Was 2020 on the list? Watch it and see. I also talked about the top 10 bestseller games of April 2021. We put up a video showing us moving to this new studio. We did shoot some marbles. There's a lot of different videos, so check them out. Thanks so much for watching, folks, the Dice Tower. We appreciate it. We hope you enjoy it. We hope to have more great videos for you this week. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.